Good afternoon. In the last lecture, we discussed about some part of evaluation of symptoms, how we should do or how we should proceed for the evaluation of symptoms. A physician should learn early to evaluate the symptom because symptoms are the sole expression of the internal disturbance, and it is only by proper understanding of these expression in disease and an equal knowledge of the condition as expressed in the proceedings that we can apply our guiding law similia similibus to render intelligently and the benefit of our patient. So for our patient's benefit, we should know or we should learn as early as possible how to evaluate the symptoms. Then Dr. Robert gave some method how to evaluate the symptoms. First, while evaluating the symptoms, we should give importance to general symptoms, in that mental general, then physical general, then location, after location, concomitant symptoms, then causation, then modalities, then contradictory symptoms, then diagnostic symptoms. So, generals first, the personality, the individuality of the patient must stand out preeminently in the picture. This embraces not only his physical characteristics but the expression of his mental and emotional characteristics as well. So we should consider his mental and emotional characteristic as well, because these, especially the mental or emotional characteristic, these reflect these are the true reflection of the personality of the patient or man. Then location, the location, it is also very important because every remedy acts more and more decidedly on certain part of the organism. So which location is get affected, according to that location we can find out or we can sort out the remedies which are most indicated for the affection of that part or organism. They are particularly to be noticed as to direction, on which side of the trouble starts and in which direction the symptoms move and where they localize. For example, throat troubles going from the left side to the right side, or there is continuous alteration. So in this way, the local what is the location of the symptom, it is important. And with this localization of the symptom, we can get the symptoms before, or we can predict the symptoms before pathological changes have manifested themselves. For example, in the beginning of the syndrome, which we call tonsillitis, or in beginning of the similar syndrome in pneumonic conditions, where if the remedy is given an early opportunity to exhibit its power, the pathological condition will not arise. So we can stop the advancement of the pathology or the disease condition with the help of the proper indicated medicine. Then after that, the concomitant symptoms. The concomitant symptoms, these are nothing but the PQRS symptom of the patient or medicine, and these are not the common symptoms of the disease, these are all uncommon symptoms of the disease. So it is called as PQRS, that is peculiar, rare, unusual symptoms. And it must necessarily follow that these concomitant symptoms have a wide variety and are widely distributed throughout the organism. So we get different type of concomitant symptoms in different condition. Those symptoms which rarely appear in connection with the leading disease and therefore are found rarely among the provings. Those symptoms which belong to another sphere of disease than the principal element, those which have more or less characteristic signs of the medicine, even though they have not before been noticed in the present relationship of the diagnostic group. Then comes the causative conditions or the causative factors. These are also important because with the help of these causative factors, the causative uh, conditions, we can able to find out the symptomatology, or we can able to find out the what is the exact base for the patient's today's or present condition. And when we remove that, many times we can able to remove that causative factor as if they are related to diet, or if they are related to any climatic condition, any factors like exposure to cold, exposure to wet. So by avoiding these things, we can avoid the illness, we can avoid the severity of that disease. So to find out the causative conditions, it is very much important, and this embraces causes that are directly traceable to diet as well as climatic condition. Then susceptibility and idiosyncrasy. Then susceptibility and idiosyncrasy. So we should know the susceptibility of the patient, with which things the patient get affected, so that we can able to manage those things. Then the modalities in analyzing the case, very valuable symptoms are those pertaining to aggravation and amelioration, because aggravations and ameliorations are the natural modifiers of the disease states and are the definite reaction of the man himself. We must take into consideration that every symptom of note has these modifying conditions of aggravation and amelioration. That is modalities related to time, time of day, time of season, time of moon, aggravation and amelioration related to thermal conditions, motion, rest of the part affected, then positions taken during each such conditions, desire, aversion of any specific food or drink. So all modalities related to these factors, these are all modifications that are the utmost important in evaluating the symptom. And it is well to bear in mind the period of onset in periodic manifestation of symptoms, the increase, acme, the decrease, the end of the disease manifestation in the evaluation of symptoms. For instance, the conditions such as cedrons, pygelia, natrum, these remedies have a decided periodicity, and it is very important to consider Also, those symptoms that occur in the recession or in the interval between the periods of aggravation. Then contradictory symptom. The contradictory symptoms are important because they may rule out many of the remedies that otherwise might be considered in connection with an individual case. That is, symptoms that are decidedly opposed to the provings, like the thirstlessness of the fever of ignitia or apis or pulsatilla when fever is present and when other symptoms agree. Contradictory symptoms may have a strong bearing in choosing the remedy from the standpoint of being themselves a symptom, just as a paucity of symptoms may be a symptom in itself. And for this reason, if you cannot find a remedy because of alternating or contradictory symptom or of very lack of symptom, take these conditions as indication of symptom of the very first rank. Then diagnostic symptom. These are helpful in the selection of remedy when we get only common symptoms, and with these diagnostic symptoms or diagnostic rubrics we can get the most indicated remedies for that diagnostic condition, so that it will be helpful to find out the indicated remedies for that disease condition, especially when we get all the common symptoms in that case. Then evaluation of symptoms by Richard Hughes. According to him, the similarity between disease and drug action should be generic, specific, and individual. So, what is generic similarity? I think it was not yet covered in the last lecture. Is it? Is it covered in last lecture? Yes. Okay, we will continue. So, generic similarity, to make the case a simile or drug action if the patient is ill, the remedy must be capable of producing illness in the healthy, and the more seriously ill he is, the more potent should be the poison which he is treated. For example, if patient is febrile, his remedy must be pyrogenetic. If inflammation, remedy should be irritant. So according to the condition of the suffering of the patient, our remedy should match to the indications of that remedy also. Means if the patient is febrile, then the remedy which we have selected or which we have choose, like as a simillimum, then it must be pyrogenetic remedy. So in this way, the indication of the remedy should be there, whatever the suffering of the patient is. Then specific similarity means the drug, this was the generic similarity, means they have the same type of disease in that medicine also as the patient was suffering. Then the specific similarity means the requisite of specific similarity should be drug should have same seat of action as the disease. Then drug should have same kind of action, same originating cause of the disease, and character of pain and other sensations, concomitants of the case. So these are the specific similarities, that is, it should have the same seat of action as that of the disease, it should have same kind of action, then same originating cause of the disease, character of pain and other sensations, There should be in the character of pain and in other sensation there should be similarity, and there should be similarity between the concomitants of the case and the remedy. Then seat of action. The first requisite for the specific similarity is that the drug should have the same action as the disease. Identify of Identity of seat should be traced thoroughly and certainly. According to him, identity of seat is half the battle, only half it is true, but to have conquered so far is fair promise of entire victory, and the promise is always fulfilled. So the seat of action, there should be similarity between drug and disease of the disease condition of the patient. So the seat of action, it should be similar. According to him, the identity of seat is half the battle. What is the seat of action of that drug, and what is the seat of, or where is the disease situated, or the patient was suffering from which condition, is it matched to the seat of the action of that medicine, then it is said that our half battle is over at that only. It is true, but to have conquered so far is fair promise of entire victory, and the promise is always fulfilled. The first requisite for the specific similarity is that the drug should have the same action of the disease. Identity of seat should be traced thoroughly and certainly. According to him, identity of seat is half the battle, only half, and the promise is always fulfilled. Then the same kind of action. Pathological process shall be same like fever, inflammation, ulceration, etc. Quality which such process receive from the diathesis or disease which they are the outcome. For example, intestinal ulceration occur due to typhoid is different from ulceration as the ultimate issue of a dysentery or as a consequence of tuberculous deposition in course of disease. Then the causative factors of the disease. Another feature of specific similarity is that modification of disease which its originating cause impress upon it, it differs according to as it is of physical and mental origin, and these classes have to be furtherly subdivided. So to find out the causative factor of the disease, it is very much important. Is it physical? The cause is physical, or is it mental, from mental origin? For example, rheumatism arising from dry cold is different from damp cold. Neuralgia induced by injury to nerve is different from one brought on by malaria or gout. Causal homeopathicity is of utmost value and many a time leads as no other guide would to the specific remedy. So, to know the exact cause of the disease, it is very important in finding out the similar. Then, character of the pain and other sensations. There is reason for why one should complain of burning pain, and another of tearing, another of gnawing, etc. So as the different individual, as each individual is different. So there is some reason why one should complain of pain, different type of pain, and other should complain of different type of pain. So in some patients they are giving the pain is like burning. In some patients while giving history they said that the tearing pain. Some patients they say there is gnawing type of pain. So there is different reason why there is different type of pain in different persons. The kind of sensation present characterizes the suffering, and on being found in pathology establishes the specific similarity of the drug which causes it. And the kind of sensation which presents the characterizes or which characterizes the suffering of the patient, what kind of sensation is present, it characterizes the suffering. With the help of that sensation we can able to find out the pathogenicity, and also we can able to find out the exact similar medicine. Then concomitant symptoms. It is the coincidence of two or more marked symptoms in pathogenesis of a drug and in the phenomena of disease. As concomitant symptoms, these are very important because they are not related directly to the disease condition, and these symptoms, it may be one, two or more. These are marked symptoms, these are PQRS symptoms, and they are very important in evaluation of symptoms because these are the specific symptom of the drug, and with the help of these concomitant symptoms we can, these are very much helpful to find out the exact similar. Then seat of action, then in organ or tissue, kind of action, in diathesis or other quality, in causative modification, in character of sensations, and in concomitants, and sequence of symptoms. These are the main elements of specific similarity. So to find out the exact simillimum, the seat of action of that remedy, then similarity between the affection of organ or tissue, similarity between the kind of action of that remedy, similarity between the diathesis, in causative factors, in modifying factors, in aggravations, in ameliorations, in the character of sensation, and in concomitants, and in sequence of symptoms. These are all the main elements which match with the these symptoms of the patient, they match with the medicinal symptoms, and these are very much important to match all these symptoms of the patient to the medicine. Then and then only we can able to find out the similitude. Then it comes the individual similarity. What is individual similarity? It is nothing but the individualization. So individualization is important in therapeutics also. Typical disease affect each subject in his own way, so that he presents a variety of species, and that which is distinctive in him must be taken into account. So these individual similarities, that is the symptoms of each patient, each person, they express each symptom in their own way, and so it was presented in different way. One disease or one sensations, one type of symptom, it was presented in different way in different individuals, and this only this only distinct, or this only separate the one individual from the another individual. These uh, separate sensations or separate presentation of different type of symptoms in different way, this is only helpful to us to individualize the patient. Then patient constitution, temperament, his mental and emotional state, the condition of aggravation and amelioration, the side of the body which is affected, the time, day or night at which the symptoms more pronounced must be taken into account in individual similarity. So all these things, while considering or when we are going to select the simillimum, all these things, that is patient's constitution, temperament, his mental emotional state, the condition of aggravation amelioration, side of the body affected, the time at which the symptoms get more or less, all these things, these are nothing but the individual symptoms, and with these symptoms we can able to find out the exact simillimum, and so these symptoms, the individual symptoms of each disease condition, they are very much important. Then constitution of the patient, for example bryonia to brunettes of bilious tendencies, arsenicum to worn and exhausted conditions, nux vomica to vigorous persons of dry habits and tense fiber, pulsatilla to lymphatic, ignitia to nervous temperament in women and children. So in this way, with their tendency, with their different temperament, with the different behavior of the patient, we can able to find out the constitution of the patient, we can able to find out the simillimum of the in the patient. So they have given the example of different medicines, how those medicines are indicated, they have given. Then the mental state, why the mental state is important. The mental and moral state of the patient is often a feature of his general temperament, but it may also supervene in the course of his existing malady. So it is the mental state or the emotional state, the moral state of the patient gives us the course of his existing malady. For example, emotional tension of agonizing with fear of death. Sorry. So there is fear of death in aconite, So we found emotional tension, then crossness of Tramomilla, the melancholia of aurum, and the entity of platina. So with these symptoms, we can able to reach towards the mental state of the patient. With the crossness of Tramomilla or with the fear of death or with the emotional tension of aconite, melancholia of aurum, we can find out or we can guess what is the mental as well as the moral state of the patient, and we can guess the feature of his general temperament. In this way, the mental state is also important. Then modalities, that is condition of aggravation and amelioration. They always played a large part in homeopathic therapeutics, and are, as there must be a cause for them, it would be wrong to ignore them. For example, the increase of the head pain of belladonna on lying down, of those of spigelia on stooping, aggravations of lachesis after sleep, and the amelioration of nux vomica from sleep. So in this way, the condition of aggravation and amelioration, they are very much helpful in finding out the similimum. So they have given the much value while evaluating the symptoms, because these indicate or these are helpful to during differentiation of the remedies to find out the exact similimum. For example, as we discussed, the increase of head pain of belladonna on lying down and the increase of head pain of spigelia, it is on stooping. The aggravation, lachesis after sleep, and amelioration of nux vomica, which is after sleep. So there is from the same condition there is aggravation, but it is at different time. The lachesis, it get aggravated after sleep, and nux vomica, it get ameliorated after sleep. So the modalities are very helpful to find out the similimum. Then the side of the body, as we know, most of the remedies they are indicated for right side, most of the remedies they are indicated for left side, most of the remedies they are indicated for sides. The affection is from one side to another side. So the side of the body, which side of the body is affected, may be thought a thing of no moment save when unilateral organs are concerned. Then time, the time of day at which symptoms occur is important, because the time which help us to find out the exact similimum. So the time modalities, the time related symptoms, they are very much helpful. Then how we should do the evaluation by, or how we should evaluate the symptoms. The concept by Dr. Stuart Close, that is, a symptom is any evidence of disease or change from a state of health. In materia medica, no relevant fact is too insignificant to be overlooked. A symptom which appears trifling to the careless or superficial examiner may become, in the hands of expert, the key which unlocks a difficult problem in therapeutics. So, according to Dr. Stuart Close, symptom is nothing but it is an evidence of disease, or the symptoms are nothing but the change of state of health to change in the state of disease. In our materia medica, according to Dr. Stuart Close, no symptom, a symptom which appears trifling to the careless or superficial examiner may become, in hands of the expert, the key which unlocks a difficult problem in therapeutics. So